There's nothing more satisfying or comforting than a juicy hamburger. Today we're gonna keep it light by making turkey burgers with a cheese skirt. So with that, I'm gonna add half a pound of this into my bowl, and then to infuse this delicious smoky burger flavor into it, I like adding a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, Dijon mustard, a tiny pinch of thyme, garlic, and salt. Now this is actually my favorite seasoning for any burger. You can use this for lamb, beef, Impossible Burger if you have that, but I usually have ground turkey at home, so we'll use that today. And then with my hands, I'll just mix. A little delayed there. And also because I'm making sliders, this is half a pound and it should feed 2.5 people, half because we have Aracy, and it should be a pretty good meal. So we're gonna cook this in a cast iron. I'm gonna turn it on the heat to medium-high and let it get really hot. Then I'll add a little bit of oil, and then we're just gonna pat our burgers into small patties. So what I like to do with the burger is actually just roll it into a ball, and once the pan's really hot, I'll just drop it in, and then we'll let it sizzle at the bottom, and then I'll smash them down. I like building a crust around the burger so that it's nice and crispy. All right, so the bottom looks pretty cooked. And I don't want to burn it either, so I'm gonna flip it. Ooh, look at that crust right there. Once I flip the burger, I'm gonna add some cheese. And this is excellent as a topper for turkey. I just have like white cheddar. I'll place the cheese slices on top of the burger, and then with a lid, I'm just gonna close it up so it melts nicely. After a minute or so, I will open it up and our burgers are done. So once I take the lid off, I'm actually gonna try to push the cheese together and see if I can make one of those cheese skirts. I don't think I added enough cheese to this, so maybe not, but we're just gonna give it a minute to see. Actually, yeah, it is kind of forming. So I have these Hawaiian dinner rolls that are perfect for sliders. And what I'm gonna do is put my condiments in there first. I'm gonna add some mayo and ketchup on each side. And then with my spatula, I'll carefully lift up the cheese skirt. Amazing. This is actually the first time I've ever tried this. So I'm really happy that it worked. I love having pickles on top, so I'll just grab one, maybe two. And there's my mini burger or turkey sliders with a cute little skirt. All right, I'm gonna put this in my burger basket and then do the other one. Ooh, actually, if I have like those party toothpicks, that would be perfect here. Just cause I wanna feel fancy, I'm gonna look for it. Boom, perfection. Finding joys in little things these days. I cannot believe that the cheese skirt worked out. Now, if you guys were to attempt this at home, I recommend cheddar, which is what I use, white cheddar or yellow cheddar. I probably wouldn't recommend American cheese just because there's too much, like, I don't really know what's in there, but if you guys try it out, let me know if it worked for you. One little cheese skirt fell down, so it's like a cheese chip. Nice and crunchy. All right, I'm gonna go in right here. The lightness from the turkey is not fatty at all, but the cheese skirt is crunchy and it adds a nice nutty flavor. And then the pickles, that tangy crunch, never disappoints. If you guys are looking for something to uplift your mood, this burger will do it. This was exactly what I needed. There's nothing that warms your soul quite like a bowl of soup, except this time I'm using frozen pot stickers and mushrooms as a hack to make this hearty miso dumpling vegetable soup. So I'm gonna start off by showing you the two frozen items that I'm gonna use. This chicken gyoza pot stickers, which I literally always have at least 2 of these bags in the freezer. They are a complete lifesaver, whether you decide to steam, pan fry, or in this case, throw into a soup. And then frozen mushrooms are also a staple for me because number one, I can never finish a pack of fresh mushrooms, and this one is an assorted variety that has every type, and I can just use as much or as little as I want without worrying about it spoiling. So first in my pot, I'm gonna add some miso ginger broth that I found at Trader Joe's. You can definitely use just plain chicken broth if you'd like, but I thought this would add a little bit more flavor to our soup. Let it come to a boil, and then I'm gonna add our pot stickers. Like always, always, if you guys want the recipes to any of the dishes in this video, I will have them listed with photos on my blog at zunglewis.com, so be sure to check out the link in the description box. Then some fresh broccoli, our mushrooms, and right before I turn off the heat, I'm gonna add 1 baby bok choy that I've already chopped, along with some soy sauce and sesame oil. Turn off the heat and our soup is ready to serve. I just want the broccoli to maintain a crunch still, the pot stickers to be cooked through, and just wilt the baby bok choy slightly. The ginger miso broth gave it a very delicate, light flavor, and the pot stickers here, well, it speaks for itself. It's so hearty and filling, along with the fresh and frozen vegetables. You really can't tell that the mushrooms were frozen at all. They just have so much flavor, and the crunch from the broccoli is still there. This one-pot pasta combines all of your favorite Mediterranean flavors into one simple dish. It's the spaghetti alla puttanesca, and if you happen to be an olive lover, this one's for you. So it's really quite simple. I start by adding a drizzle of olive oil into my pot, and then I am gonna turn on the heat to medium, and now I'm gonna add some coarsely chopped garlic. All I did was just smash it down and just rough chop the garlic, and this will really infuse that nice garlicky flavor into our sauce without burning it when we saute. And now I'm gonna add some anchovies. I like using anchovy fillets, and if you haven't really used any before, I highly recommend it. I like the ones packed in oil. It just adds so much umami and flavor into your dish, and it's quite big. So I'm gonna add maybe 4 pieces. The anchovies are really delicate, so they break down very easily with the oil and the garlic. So just kind of mash them down with your spoon until they become kind of like a paste. Alternatively, you can always use anchovy paste, about 1 tablespoon, or fish sauce. Now I'm gonna add some capers, and the capers will give this dish that defining taste. It's a little bit briny, a little bit vinegary, and it blends together perfectly with our olives, which I'm gonna be using 2 varieties here, a black one and a Kalamata. The black one is a little bit more mild, whereas the Kalamata that was soaked in olive oil has that kind of more pungent, kicky olive taste. Then to finish off our sauce, I'm gonna add 1 large can of crushed tomatoes, 1 cup of water, and finally our uncooked spaghetti. I'm using half a pound here, or you can just measure with a pretty medium-sized handful. I'll break the spaghetti in half, and then I'll just submerge it into the sauce and let it come to a boil and simmer for 10 minutes, or until the spaghetti is al dente. So just be sure to occasionally mix the spaghetti so the ones at the bottom don't burn. Also, if you see that the sauce is absorbing too quickly and the spaghetti is not fully cooked yet, just add a little bit more water. Almost ready. This looks so good. Our noodles are fully absorbed and cooked, yet you still have a lot of sauce left over for the final dish. What I like to do now is just drizzle it with a little bit more olive oil so it gets nice and glossy, along with a hit of parsley chopped so that we add a little bit of freshness. 1 more mix and we are ready to serve. Get some olives in there. If you wanted to have a spicy kick, you can always add a pinch of red chili pepper flakes, which I'll do to 1 of them. And then I like to add some shaved Parmesan right on top, and then another fresh sprinkle of parsley. I'll be honest, I wasn't always an olive lover, but this dish right here really changed my mind. I worked at a pasta restaurant in college, and I resisted it for the longest time because I didn't like olives, and the thought of anchovies kind of scared me. But when I tried it, my mind was blown. Let's see if it's blown again. It's salty, it's briny, and I love the fact that we cooked the spaghetti in the actual sauce because it absorbed all of the flavor, and it's perfectly al dente and soft. Just how I like my pasta.
Hey, Ollie, ready? Go!
Growing up in an Asian household, it wasn't unusual for me to have my eggs with rice. So this one was inspired by my childhood. A little bit of soy sauce, sesame oil, and a hint of sugar, and honestly, it transforms your eggs with rice. I'm gonna heat my pan up to medium high and add half a tablespoon of butter. I'll let it get hot, and then I'm gonna add 1 clove of minced garlic. I'll saute it for about a minute, and then I'll add in my seasoning. I have a little bit of sugar, sesame oil, and soy sauce. Give it a mix, turn off the heat, and then we'll add our eggs. You guys, I've also been keeping up with my blog, so I have all the recipes listed on there if you want the exact measurements. And like our last two, just fold it over until it's nice and silky. Again, if you like it a little bit more on the cooked side, kind of like tamago, just keep it on the heat for a little bit longer. For this dish, because we're not adding any other additions, it's a little bit more forgiving. And the reason why I added the seasonings in first was so that it would kind of open up and really infuse our eggs with flavor. This looks so silky and velvety. Just give it a few more folds. I'm leaving our eggs a little bit runny here so that it would seep into our rice more, like a sauce. Okay, perfect. Let's plate this baby. So I have my bowl of steaming hot rice all ready to go, and now I'm just gonna pile on my eggs. But wait, we're not done. I like to top it with a little bit of sesame seeds, toasted. And finally, some roasted seaweed. I'm stealing this one from Erisy, the baby shark. She won't mind too much. I'll just grab a few and cut them up into strips right on top. Comfort and nostalgia all in a bowl. Now, I made this for breakfast, and I grew up eating stuff like this for breakfast, but this could certainly be a breakfast for dinner type of meal too. A bowl of ramen is universally loved. At least I know I love it. I grew up on the packaged variety, which isn't so great for you, but what's great about this ramen noodle soup is that I infused Thai flavors and fresh ingredients. And best of all, it comes together in about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna share my recipe for this Thai curry ramen noodle soup. So the cooking process is super simple. I'm gonna start off by cooking off our chicken. To the pot, I'm gonna add a drizzle of olive oil, let it get hot, and then I'm gonna add my chicken. Here I have 1 chicken breast that I've already thinly sliced. I'll season it with some salt and pepper, and then we're gonna cook it up for about 5 minutes until it's fully cooked through. I'll remove the chicken from the pot, and now we get on to the spices. I'll add another drizzle of olive oil, let it get hot, and then I'm gonna add in a stalk of lemongrass that I've already smashed. So smashing the lemongrass helps it to release the oils and really infuse our broth with so much flavor. Then I'll add 1 cup of sliced mushrooms. I'm using cremini mushrooms here. Half of a bell pepper that I've thinly sliced, some minced garlic, and then we'll continue sauteing it for a few minutes. Once it's nice and fragrant, I'm gonna add in my red curry paste. So you can find this Thai red curry paste at any grocery store nowadays in the Asian aisle. I really like it because it's super convenient. Then we'll add 1 cup of coconut milk, 4 cups of chicken broth, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, and 2 kaffir lime leaves. These are kaffir lime leaves. They're actually ones that I picked from my parents' house before we moved, and I've kept them in the freezer. They smell so good still. If you can't find kaffir lime leaves, they also sell them dried, but you can also substitute for fresh lime leaves. I'm gonna give it a final mix. And now we're gonna bring the broth to a boil, then let it simmer for about 15 minutes before we add our noodles in. Okay, our broth is done, so now I'm gonna add in some fresh noodles. I got these fresh noodles at the market. This is actually from Sun Noodles, and if you guys are from Hawaii or have been to Hawaii, these are super popular. They're used in all the Simon dishes there. So now I'm just gonna take 1 whole packet, and then we're gonna add it directly into the soup and then bring it back to a boil for like 3 minutes. So since the noodles are fresh, they cook really fast, but if you wanna substitute for dried ramen noodles, you can certainly do that in the same pot. Just cook it for a little bit longer according to the package's direction. All right, so now we're gonna serve it. I'm just gonna add the noodles into the bowl first. With the chicken that we cooked earlier, I'm gonna add it right on top. And then I also sauteed some spinach. I always like to add some greens to my ramen, either bok choy, kale, whatever I have available. And then a squeeze of lime before I add the soup. What I like to do is just squeeze it in and throw the whole rind into the bowl. And then we ladle in our broth. This is a hearty, flavorful bowl of ramen that came together in less than 30 minutes. Finally, we'll garnish it with some cilantro. You can leave this out if you're not a cilantro fan, but I definitely love it, so in it goes. Now let's give it a try. Get a piece of chicken and maybe a mushroom in there. big bite. The richness from the coconut milk and all the spices from our curry paste, Thai curry paste, just really complement each other. It's so hearty and rich. And my favorite part is the whole lime that's in there. It just makes it so tart.